right, guys. Well, I'm going to get us started here. I first want to take a moment and say thank you for joining us tonight at the Untitled Austin. We are thrilled to have such an awesome crew with us tonight. We have a number of hosting companies alongside, although it says Zaius, and I'm Rick with Zaius. We also are joined by the folks from BVA, who are sitting right in front, Travis and Teresa, hello. We're also joined by a number of Justuno folks that are seated in various places around. And our Zendesk friends are out here somewhere. Hello, Aaron. Hello, team. So thank you all for joining us. We're going to have a good time tonight because we kind of turn the whole panel on its side. And we get to talk, you're not just going to hear from folks like us, but we're going to hear from each other. So we encourage participation the whole way through the night. I mentioned my name. I'm Rick Kenny. I lead our industry strategy at Zaius. And just want to once again thank you for joining us. We're going to have a grand old time. Here's our program for tonight. We do it in 3 parts. We're going to start and kick off, and the 3 of us, Zaius, BVA, and Justuno, will give you a quick, brief 5-minute talk on what's happening in the industry itself. We'll tell some stories. We'll give you some data. It'll be a time. Second, and maybe most exciting, we have Sabrina from Miss in the Main. Thank you for joining us, Sabrina. Sabrina's going to tell some fantastic data and experience stories as well. And then one of the favorite parts at the very end is our unpanel. We're going to hand you a play card. We're going to play a game. Everyone gets to play, and you get to vote and share. And Greg's showing one of those play cards that will be yours in just a moment. One of those play cards. So that's our program tonight. We're going to do all that in about 45 minutes or so. I encourage you, grab a drink, get some food. We keep it informal here. Does that sound like a plan? Thumbs up? All right. Well, let's do it. Here are the folks. You will see us all in a moment. There's Sabrina, who's our real star of the show today. And then the 3, hopefully smaller pictures of us on the side, me, Matt, and Travis on the side. We're thrilled just to tell some stories as we go in. So I am going to start, though. And we call this Unpaneled Customer Experience, and I want you to take a small leap with me, which is, if you want to talk about experience, it really is about knowing more, and hopefully I'll build that case as we go in terms of why knowing more matters to customer experience. And the data stories that I'm going to tell you are coming from a large data set, by the way, so any data that I share is 300 million shoppers worth of activity, a whole bunch of engagements between interactions and revenue and all those sorts of things. I'm going to tell 2 stories. One is about some of your very best customers and why you need to know them. And then my very favorite segment in the world to talk about are your next best shoppers. I'm going to tell some stories about who those next best shoppers are and why you need to get to know them and find them. I'll start with, though, your best. And we all know our best customers, by definition, are contributing a massive share of all your revenue and all your engagement. The 4% of sessions of all the visits that they make up yield 80% of your revenue. So your best customers absolutely matter. You're not surprised by the numbers, but they're pretty darn head-turning, just as they are. But what I want to get into is how do you actually treat them differently? And a lot of us will talk about loyalty, and we probably belong to a whole lot of loyalty programs. I want to talk about a rather unique story about Stitch Fix. Who knows Stitch Fix? Do we have any Stitch Fix customers? I'm like a massive, Sabrina's heard me talk about Stitch Fix far too much. Exactly. You get real folks from there. So I love Stitch Fix, but the story of Style Pass doesn't start with me. It actually starts with my wife, because I've been a Stitch Fix customer for maybe 3 to 6 months, decided it was awesome. I gifted my wife a subscription to it, and a couple months later she gets this. She gets this email from Stitch Fix that says, "Hey, Liz, join Style Pass." And she sent to me and said, "Should I do this?" And I said, "I don't know what Style Pass is. Let me find out." So I do my little industry digging, and I have still no idea what it is. But it sounded like a good deal. She gets to have fixes whenever she wants. Which means, if you're familiar with Stitch Fix, you know that every time you order a box from Stitch Fix, if you send everything back, you don't keep anything, you owe them $20 or $25. What they've done with their Style Pass is they've taken that risk out. You can get fixes all week long. You can send them all back. You don't need to pay anything else. And what we came to find out is that she earned Style Pass because she was a very good customer of theirs. She had earned it based on the frequency she bought, the amount of stuff that she purchased from Stitch Fix. I later on would earn it maybe 6 months later because I crossed whatever threshold it is. But the lesson here that I learned at least is If you can find a way in your business to increase frequency and make them want to buy your product more without risk to you, without risk to the customer, that's what your best shoppers are. That's how to treat your best shoppers and how you can know them really well. Don't be afraid to be innovative like Stitch Fix to find something like this in your business. So I talked about my favorite segment, the next best shoppers. And the next best shoppers are really interesting because, you guys remember the show, How I Met Your Mother? It's a couple of years old now. So the cool thing about that show, or at least one of the things, and I didn't see the end of it, I just never made it to the end of the season or the end of the series. What's interesting about it was the mother was always in the story somewhere. You weren't really sure which person in the story was the mother, and that might be how it is with your next best shoppers. They are lurking. They are amongst your data. You might not be able to find them easily or know them, but what you do need to know is those next best shoppers, they're a small slice of the pie for you. It's only about 2%, just under 2% of your shoppers. But those folks consume 11% of all your product detail pages. So if you look at the group of all those product detail pages, just that small group of 2% of shoppers is consuming 11% of the total. Why is that interesting? It's interesting because those folks, the active non-buyers, those next best shoppers, consume 11%. All of your other buyers combined take up 10%. Those active non-buyers are your absolute next best shoppers. They consume more than all of your other buyers combined. You need to find them. This is the group of shoppers that will change your business and transform you. If you can bring them and convert them to be a real-life customer of yours, you are in a fantastic place from there. Those are your next best shoppers. And the answer, though, is, well, how do I go and serve these next best shoppers? And you probably all say, I know, it's going to be personalization, and it is. And personalization, when you look at the value and the impact of personalizing the shopping experience, it is massively powerful. That if you get somebody to click or tap on a recommendation, they are 5 times more likely to buy. They spend 5 times more than any of your other shoppers. Other engagement metrics like cart rates and engagement, they're all positive too. The problem, though, is that folks say, great, I've got personalization on my product detail page, I'm good, right? And you're not good. You've got to bring that other places too. You've got to bring it into site search. You've got to bring it into marketing means. You need to bring it into your homepage. Personalization needs to be everywhere across the entire customer experience. And I bring up what you also might not be thinking about is you need to bring it into service as well. Customer service is the most underappreciated area across all of retailing these days. It is the one spot where you always have a one-to-one engagement with the shopper. We've tried in marketing to move from broadcasts to segmented to personalized, and in commerce we try to do the same thing. Every time an agent of yours is talking with a shopper, it's a one-to-one engagement. Make it feel like it. Make it personalized. Bring the recommendations directly into the hands of the agent so they can throw off great personalized recommendations along the way. That's my piece. I'm going to bring up Travis, who is next to sell some stories about payment. Travis, the stage is yours. Woo!
You're always a tough act to follow, Rick. Little known fact about Rick, How I Met Your Mother, he has truly not finished it. He has the last episode saved on his laptop, he just can't find the closure, so little known thing. I'm Travis Hess. I'm going to get off this slide as quickly as possible. Chief Commercial Officer at BVA. We're a large digital agency, particularly in direct-to-consumer brands, particularly in Shopify Plus, headquartered out of San Diego. And we've done this now, 3 times? Each time I feel like I have kind of the lamest subject to talk about as far as sexiness is concerned. But one of the things he tasked me with was, hey, don't give me a sales pitch, don't talk about yourself, don't talk about the agency, talk about something that's probably applicable to 95% of the people in the room, that not only is applicable, but it's pretty easy to implement, things that we see all the time that would make a meaningful impact. And one of the things we focus on as an agency is around revenue optimization. So working with brands once they're live online and figuring out how they best spend money on a monthly basis that maximizes the return. So in a perfect world, by spending the least amount of money with the maximum amount of return obviously makes us a bit more effective. And one of those aspects is the expansion of payment options. Just with everything kind of going on in the space today, right, and trying to create a more frictionless checkout experience and hoping to improve in-court checkout and overall reducing friction. See if this works there. during shopping as well. So there's been a huge expansion in the space. It seems like every other week there's a new partner that pops out. We've worked with all of these guys. Some of the more recent ones, Afterpay, Affirm, Klarna, folks that have been around for a long time, especially with brands that deal with very high AOV or highly promotional. I'll get into some of the demographics here in a bit about folks in Gen Z and millennials as it relates to a percentage of credit card holders. But again, giving them a flexible option to the extent you've got a high AOV product or a high involvement product, or you're running heavy promotions and people want to spend maybe a little bit more than what they may have today, getting them through that checkout process by applying these to allow them to immediately indulge, right, in an impulse buy or try to bring up that AOV and that conversion rate by spreading payments or peanut buttering them, if you will, over time. And we've seen as high as a 30% lift of in-cart checkout just by applying the right sort of alternative payment methods. And just in general, from a demographic perspective, only 1 in 3 millennials owns a major credit card today. It's even lower for Gen Z. The dynamics are changing, so depending on your brand, depending on your demographic, depending on your target audience, depending on your AOV and those sorts of things, we see this makes a pretty meaningful impact to people's business. And the way we typically approach this, right, is to A/B test a couple different methods. We have brands and like-type verticals that we can certainly overlay objective data to, but most importantly, for those of you doing it yourselves or through another agency, A/B test, we really believe in testing and measuring and let the data kind of speak for itself. And as well, one of the call-outs, look out for negative impacts on consumer credits, and things along those lines. And at the end of the day, right, expanding your payment options ultimately increase revenue per visitor, and that's the end goal for us. And Rick's going to be pleased with that finish in less than 5 minutes. And I know Sabrina's going to let us talk about it. Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Matt Bingham, partnerships at Justuno. I want to thank Zaius and BVA for coming out. I want to talk a little bit about AI and e-commerce, and now I can see some eye rolls right now about AI. It's not Skynet. I think we can leverage some AI components to help your day-to-day as a merchant to really maximize your conversion. So this is a quick quote from our CEO. He talks about using AI and how it can be a powerful tool for your marketers for predicting emails to on-site personalization. The one piece that I really like about this is personalization on a scalable level. You know, we always talk about personalizing content and really getting in the weeds of showing unique content to every single visitor, but it's just such a hard and difficult process to implement. You know, there's so many different visitors, there's so many different audiences that you might want to target specific content to, but what AI is really revolutionizing is bringing that personalization to the masses. It can help increase your average order value and your customer loyalty. And what we like to really focus in on is lowering a lot of your on-site friction. You know, we talked about payment and giving other people options. I think if you can personalize a little bit on PDP pages, in-page offers, showing people what they might want to be looking at or purchasing during that session based upon the data that you might have collected. You can really create actionable displays based on customer data. We have so much insight in our Shopify, e-commerce backends, and our email platform. Why not use a machine to help display that type of information? We found that if you do personalize, customers, you know, really enjoy that experience. They add more things to the cart. They, you know, look through your scrolls and your options there, but they're more loyalty. They feel like you're bringing that one-on-one connection with the person through a screen. It's really hard to do that on a scalable level, so why not leverage a machine learning or tool that incorporates AI where you can input a lot of metrics and then display certain parameters. So this is just like a quick example here of generalized versus specific personalization. You know, this is on the cart page. Right under the comment section, there's a little bit of a slider, and this is actually our AI engine tool that displays based upon the visitor's history and also the purchase history, what's in their cart, and it's basically just showing them a quick upsell or cross-sell offer. You know, this isn't obtrusive, this isn't in the way, it's just a gentle nudge to people to show them the options that they have available to them. We always like the door greeter example. You know, you go to Walmart, every person says hello to you at the door, right? They're in their Walmart vest and they say hello. But if that person knows you, it's like, hey Matt, welcome back to Walmart. We're doing this sale on shoes. I have a much more of a personalized level with that brand, and I'm probably going to go look at the shoes option. So that's the way you can use AI, is pushing people towards certain actions that you want as a merchant, and you can do it in a non-intrusive way that's in their face. You can do it throughout the visitor experience, and it really just creates just a really enhanced experience here. So you can also see using a lot of targeting parameters, you can do a lot of cool upsell, cross-sell tests with A/B testing different displays, and do smart product recommendations. We do this in email, we do this in Facebook ads. You can bring it to the on-site experience, and that's really where people buy it, on your website. So don't be afraid. I know people always think about machine learning and AI being a crazy complex tool, but if you really take the machine and let it do the hard work of what's being displayed, you can tell that engine or that AI tool what you want to target and how you want to target it. So I'll be around to answer more questions, but I'll pass it over to Rick.
Thank you, Matt. All right. So now I'd like to invite Sabrina up to tell some stories. I've known Sabrina for the past 9 months or so. She is one of those folks that I call when I want to get perspective on something that's either happening in the software world or just generally how she's working with some of her shoppers. You can see across commerce marketing service, and that makes her super powerful here. So Sabrina, it is all yours.
Thank you for having me here today. Hi guys, I'm Sabrina. I am the Director of E-commerce for Visit in Maine. We make menswear performance fabrics. I'll make a shameless plug for our domain Northside store that's open on Friday this year. We're pretty excited about it. So what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is leveraging data to enhance customer experience. So we've been on this journey to try to make data a capability for Visit in Maine. When I started there about 2.5 years ago, we were definitely not in a place where we could even imagine being able to do those sorts of things. So just wanted to share a little bit of what we've learned along the way, and then some things that we're really excited about that we've been working on lately. So where do you get data from? For us, we have e-commerce stores, we have obviously brick and mortar stores. Every click, every view, every email open, there's all these little interactions that can tell you a lot about your customers and what they want, what they don't like, what they're interacting with, and like how do you learn from that? How do you pull it all together into something that's meaningful? And so the way that we've approached it is we start trying to just say like, hey, can we get data from that? Like maybe you can't, but maybe we should try it. So we're taking product data, size, fit, color, where it was made, what type of product it is, things like that. We get information from our loyalty surveys. We recently launched a loyalty program last fall, and we have some really kind of intense style fit profiles that come along with it. We get this really great, rich data from our customers that way. And then obviously we have all the e-commerce data from all of those transactions, from our retail stores, from wholesale partners, and even we get some from Amazon. So just trying to take all of those transactional data and turn it into something meaningful for us. Additionally, we have customer behavior analytics, some things that we get through Zaius and other places. We have marketing and promotional analytics, where customers are coming from, what channel are they on Facebook, are they finding us through search, those sorts of things. And then we've recently started dabbling in some AI tools, actually. Some of it is kind of beyond our ability and understanding, but we've been able to take some external data and cross-reference it with our customer data and learn even more about them. That's been really powerful for us. So what do you do once you start getting it? Well, what I talk to internally in my team, focus on actionable data, not just interesting, because it's all interesting. It's really, there's some rabbit holes you can go down to a long, long way. And you get to the end and you're like, well, what am I going to do with this piece of information? I don't know. But you spent all day doing it, and no one has that kind of free time. So trying to focus on what's actionable, and there's two ways that we approach it. And so one of them is, what are your key burning business questions? I want to do this, and if I just knew XYZ about our customers, I could deliver them this better experience. And then the other way is just letting the data sort of come to life and teach you new things that you didn't know were there. We have lists on our walls, and it's like things we know about our customers and things about transactions and products. And like, we look across there, we took like 2 or 3 things, but that tell us something new that we didn't already know. And if so, then maybe that's a place where we start to kind of dig into. Another really important thing that took us kind of a while to get to is just sharing the data amongst each functional team. So each team is getting their own information. It seems like a really simple concept. Of course, why wouldn't you share that data amongst your other team members? But there's no time. Like, when does that happen? And how does it happen in a meaningful way? So we're doing things like, I found some great information, I'm going to Slack it out to you. And then 3 weeks later, something would happen in a meeting, you'd be like, no, like our customers don't do that. And no one does that. So what we do is we have weekly cross-functional meetings with all of our department functional leads, and then we do a quarterly hindsight where we spend all day just getting really into the nitty-gritty of what we learned. And some really beautiful things have come out of that would have never happened before. We just forced everyone to get in the room and talk about it. And what we've also learned is that even if you think it's like not like we learned a thing about our customer, and there's no way our product team could possibly care about this, our product team's kind of like, hey, we learned that cool thing you told us, and we went and did something with it that I would have never imagined doing that, which is kind of neat. So I'll take you through a couple things that we've learned. Sorry, my slides are a little verbose. But starting with like how we action on some of these things. So from an e-commerce perspective, sorry, I probably should have said it earlier on, I run e-commerce for Zendesk, but also take on some of our marketing functions, customer experience, and insights. But what we're trying to do for our site is personalize our shopping experience, of course. And we've done it in a lot of different ways, and so here's just a couple of them. So sticky sizing is one. Size and fit is like the cornerstone of comfort, and our brand is all about comfort. So really getting your size right is important to us. And what we've done is where we've learned your size, we've just put sticky sizing across the entire site to just make it easier for you to add to the cart. But what we found is that where we know your size and can do sticky sizing, we see a 15.5% increase in conversion rate on our PDPs. And it's a really simple thing for us, because we never size it. Another way we've done it is through product recommendations. So we have a shirt finder tool, and we ask a bunch of questions, and we deliver through some algorithms that someone else built on us. Like custom tailored product recommendations for you for your fit, your size, your preferences. And what we've seen there is for customers who use that tool, it's 143% increase in conversion, which is huge. And we took that and we're like, we need to get this thing in front of everybody all the time. How do we get more people to do this? And then lastly, segmentation. We segment our site in a bunch of different ways. And knowing more about you, like where you are in your shopping life cycle, how recently you bought, what brought you to the site, where did you come from, allows us to land you on a dedicated landing page just for you or your segment. What we've seen there is an almost 12% increase in conversion. If we know that about you, it can land you somewhere more relevant. From a marketing lens, what we've been really trying to focus on is where, when, why our customers are buying. And what we've been trying to do with that is offer them like more tailored promotions. I think you mentioned something like that. Like we know the things about you that what motivates you to buy, and we can deliver an offer for you versus just a one-size-fits-all promotion for all of our customers. What we've seen is where we're able to segment out special offers for segments of customers, a 48% increase in revenue per email for those emails versus just sort of like, here's a thing. Another thing that we're exploring is cross-channel. So we know a certain subset of our customers shop on Amazon too. But everything that we have on Amazon, we have on our site also, the same price. So some things we're exploring are just trying to offer them like, hey, like if free shipping is just their jam, like we can offer them free shipping. Or we can try to entice them to join our loyalty program where they'll earn free shipping or free expedited shipping. Maybe that's a way to pull them back into our ecosystem versus going back to Amazon. And then lastly, as we open more stores, trying to understand where it makes more sense to drive our customers to a brick and mortar store versus back online. We know that when customers go into our stores, their likelihood to repeat is exponentially higher. So for me, I run e-commerce, but I don't care, if a customer comes and buys a shirt from Ms. Bain, I'm happy. And so just finding those moments where, hey, it makes more sense to get them in the door of a store and let someone take great care of them. From a customer service perspective, Rick mentioned trying to provide just that one-to-one personalized experience. That screen grab that we shared is actually from our Zendesk account. And the way that we're using data is, prioritizing our tickets based on loyalty levels. If we know you're VIP or one of our top tier loyalty customers, we're actually escalating your ticket to the top of the queue so you can get a concierge level service from our concierge sales rep. We also like to surprise and delight our customers. We're a premium brand. Our customers just expect more from us. So being able to, hey, we know it's your birthday, happy birthday, or toss in a little special gift, just like a luggage tag or sticker. Some people just like getting stuff. We can even level up customers if they're close. What we found is it doesn't cost us really very much, anything at all, to level up our customers, but that just completely makes someone's day to level them up to a VIP level. And then lastly, product recommendations. We know our customer size, their color fit preferences, and those sorts of things. So when they reach out to us, our ability to turn that around into a sale or save a return when customers reach out and like, hey, this isn't work for me, and that's a tremendous value to us to reduce our return rate, the RMAs, the fees, everything associated with that is over time a big win. And then lastly, but actually something I'm really excited about, even though I'm not proud to, is just how we've been able to take data on product fit and size and enhance our actual product that we make for consumers. And so some things that we've done are taking all of our product requests. We get people love to tell us what they wish that we made. And we quantify that into a meaningful stack of data for our product team. And before the point where they start looking at what new designs they want to make, they go through all of this and say hey, our customers are telling us this or that, so let's not make this thing that no one's asking for, and instead lean into things that weren't even on our radar. So an example of that is we introduced a new no-tuck link into our assortment the beginning of this month. It's actually almost sold out because so many customers were we just want a shorter shirt to wear untucked. Cool, we can make that, and we made it happen for them. And another thing we've done is fit improvements. So using all of our customer size and fit data, and we actually collect a height and body weight from customers as well. We can see where we can make micro adjustments to our fit to make it better for customers. And we actually did roll out at the beginning of this year what we're calling the perfect fit, but it's really these super small adjustments that just make the shirt fit better, because we know that's what makes it more comfortable. And then lastly, but a huge one is inventory planning. So probably for a lot of us, inventory is one of our biggest investments that we make as a company. And we've been able to look at size and fit trends and take that data and plan the inventory that we buy better, we manufacture better. So we started seeing that our tall customers were increasing and we were not making enough inventory for them. So we actually shifted and started putting more of the talls because we were just leaving money on the table. For you specifically. But it's a huge win. We're just leaving money on the table, so we're actually really excited about that. So that's just a couple ways that we're taking data that we're collecting from everywhere and trying to make it just work for us to make a better customer experience across the entire company. And so far it's been great for us. We've had a lot of painful moments also, so just one of the highlights from that is as you collect data, hindsight's always 20/20. So make sure you can connect it to other things. And if you're vetting vendors or vetting tools, make sure hey, will this connect? How can I export this data? How am I going to get my hands on it all day? Just trying to figure out how you're going to merge two pieces of data together. This is a huge time suck, and it has so that's all I have. So thank you.
Okay, we're in the unpanel portion, our last portion of the evening. Greg is actually passing out your game cards as we speak. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to put something on the slide in just a moment. It's going to be a little question or statement at the very top of this slide. You will hold up the inside of the card. Does everyone know what the inside of the card looks like? It's the blue one. It says in on it. That's right. Yes. In. Out. You're going to hold up the inside if you agree. You can agree. You can want to agree. You can agree with it. If you don't. If you think it is not the case or disagree, that's where you turn to your out card. So get ready to hold up cards. Sound good? In and out. Hold them up. All right. Here's also the part where we get to participate together too. So please share. You guys make this better as we go in. So here we go. First question, number 1. I will have a chatbot on my site this year. In or out? I see a lot of ins. I love the ins. You get a super strong in. Can I call on you? Can you tell the story? Yes.
Gotta have it on your side.
Why?
So that they can get immediate help, otherwise the listing helps.
I love it. Any outs? Do we have any outs? Oh.
I'm saying out, but next year. Yeah.
So it's a timing thing.
Yeah.
It'll be 2021.
Yeah.
How about like holiday this year? Yeah, maybe. Alright, but mostly in. Hold them up again one more time. Mostly in. I should like take pictures of like ins versus outs here just to see what they all in. I see a bunch of ins though. I love them. Do you have any thoughts on chatbots you want to share, Sabrina?
So we actually have a chat widget, a live chat widget on our site, and just got creamed this holiday because our customer service team is so small. So we're looking at chatbots to automate it, to just give our teams a breathing room. We've actually staffed up our team, but it would have been really helpful to just answer some of those questions.
All right. Stop me if you've got like an opinion you've got to share, or else I'll just keep rolling here. Number 2. Collaborate with other brands on acquisition. Are you in or are you out on relying on? I see like tentative things are happening here. I see some ins. Any strong opinions? That was like a delayed in, like a. So, well, what do you think about it? What does that mean to you?
It sounds interesting. To acquiring customers. Oh yeah, that's what I do. Well, we're like, we sell a lot of different brands, and we partner with our bigger brands all the time on acquiring more customers. Yeah.
I love it. I see other ins, any outs. This is kind of like your wheelhouse here. Ins. I see an in. Any story behind it? Or you just want to say, I get the inside?
We're currently in the process of working closely with our sister companies to better understand how they acquire customers, how we acquire customers, and like sort of adopt each other's best practices. The goal would be that if we don't get the customer, they get the customer, rather than the customer going somewhere else. So definitely collaborating.
Awesome. Good amount of ins. I need more outs here, though. I need to have more things that are outs. All right. We didn't get to talk about subscriptions. Travis has had a great story about subscriptions. When you want to hear it, talk to Travis. But I talked about Stitch Fix, which I know. So the question here is, will you increase investment in subscription offerings for your customers? Who's going to do it? Show me the in if you think you are in for doing subscription type things. It's kind of like a maybe. Why maybe?
My company just started their first subscription offering this year, and it's proving really strong on the revenue front. However, it's also proving really strong on the dispute front. So making sure that you are super prepared for people not understanding how subscriptions work, forgetting about them, and going to dispute rather than calling your support would be really important when considering increasing investments in subscription offerings. We're making a lot of headway to curb the disputes because overall we think we're offering an amazing subscription to our consumers, but having a clear plan with deflecting those is really important.
Any other subscription stories? Any other ins or outs for subs? Who likes them? Travis, we know you're a fan. We just didn't get to feature that tonight, so. Next time. I think subscriptions are the best. That's the case. Alright. Let's roll. Ooh. Will you invest in more marketplaces that aren't named Amazon? Seeing some outs. Any ins for this one? I want to hear an awesome story from in. I see some ins, outs, mostly outs, really? Any others? Do you have any outs story you want to share?
We managed our own Amazon store for a while as a secondary channel, and it just became way easier to delegate that to a registered secondhand retailer. And I think if we explore other marketplaces, it'll be under that guide. Who wants to do it for us? I'd rather focus on the single channel account now. Yeah.
All right. Marketplaces, maybe. All right. Influencer marketing. We talk a lot about influencer marketing. Is it a top 5 channel for you? A lot of ins, some outs. Brian says outs, not a big deal. Ins, I get to give more of the room. You're sort of, like, get the sort of first. Is it like on the border of 5 or 6?
Yeah, I don't know if it's top 5, but it's up there.
Okay. Any good influencer stories? I love good influencer marketing stories. Who's got one? All right.
I would say yes, but it's popularizing so much to pay influencers that it's not authentic. So, like my company, for example, we paid $0 in marketing and grown from a startup out of my car to selling in over 200 stores nationwide in Canada. And we used authentic influencer marketing. If they want payment, we won't accept it. We'll give them product. Yeah, they have to wear something to post.
I'm an influencer. Yeah.
I'd say vet your influencers a little bit as well on a personal level. We in the past 18 months had an influencer reverse engineer one of our products, go to Alibaba and start importing it, cut a relationship off with us, and start their own brand. So I worked on that, but still a top 5 marketing channel. Yeah. Not good.
How do you vet them?
Have a real conversation with them. See what kind of person they are on the phone or in person if you can, not just on Instagram. Yeah. It's hard to see that conversation. Yeah, no, seriously. Hard to see that coming down the pipeline, but it sucks. Love it. Okay.
Awesome. Any other influencer stories? I think I got 2 more. All right, what's next? Oh, add alternate payment types in. See, you made the case. Everyone's like, yes, of course. Travis told me to. It's an in. Brian says in. Strong in. Give me your top 2 or 3.
I'm super in favor for adding ways to do payment plans. Afterpay, stuff like that, I think is great. I would be an out though on like App Store stuff. I don't know how many people have experience with iTunes, but as a business, you have no insight into your refunds or anything like that, so people can try to refund their product and not actually get the refund or get the refund but never tell you about it. So we are cutting our App Store payment options, but we are introducing payment plan options. So both.
I see you said it. All right. I see the ends. I'll get you. I'm not doing a good enough job coming out to see the good people in the middle of the room.
Yeah, I just heard this. 50 Cent accidentally took Bitcoin for his last album and made millions. So the potential is there.
The guy always wins. 50 Cent's always in the middle of something fantastic. All right. Brian, do you have a comment you want to make? Okay.
Worked with a bunch of merchants in the Northwest and was at an Amazon Pay event, and they were talking about 30 to 40% increase quarter over quarter in the number of Amazon payment checkouts. And I think just as a consumer, all of us, if you can 1 or 2 click checkout, it just happens faster. and I don't have to type in my credit card information. So from a consumer perspective, it's just so much easier, and everyone should do it.
Great. I'll give one quick stat on alternate payment. When Johnson Murphy Shoes added Apple Pay, they cut their checkout speed by 90 seconds just by adding Apple Pay. The conversion, I think, is something like 17% increase in conversion, but 90 seconds off. That is just flattening the funnel entirely, which I think is super. What do we got? Oh, I'm not close enough. Oh, I think this is the last one. Will you increase investment in SMS this year? So 2020 over 2019, a bunch of ins, a good amount of ins. That's good to see. Any thoughts?
So we started doing SMS last spring, and it's been great for us. There's very highly engaged audience. We're learning they're a little bit different audience than our email audience, but still learning there. But our list size is growing a lot, and we've seen lots of pops in business. So we're definitely leaning into that level this year. Yes. We for phone numbers, we are offering, it's our evergreen offer, which is 50 off 3 dress shirts, so it's pretty high AOV, but it's something, and it's worth it.
Any other SMS stories? Gregson in, I know you're in. You've been on us about how in you are for this. I think Matt's in as well. All right. Any other SMS? Yeah.
Sabrina, can I ask you a question on the SMS? No, maybe later. Sabrina, yeah, for the SMS, do you see a big difference in the demo that's buying on SMS versus something like email? I mean, can you talk about how you're doing SMS and what that customer looks like specifically? Is it a different customer group?
Yeah, so our email marketer manages both SMS and email, and what he's seeing is that he thinks that the customer who is engaging with us on SMS is a little bit younger and enters into our brand at a lower AOV. So we're having to rethink what offers, like we're getting in with that 50 off offer, but like conversion with that code isn't as high. But when we push out things about like sales, like last chance items and things like that on our site, we see a high conversion. So we're almost kind of going down this path of looking at them as their own like segment. So like, hey, we have an offer, we're gonna send everyone. Like, what do we do for these guys? Where we're kind of tripped up is if we do different offers, then we need to suppress them if they're on both lists and trying to figure that piece out right now.
Okay. Oh. Jenna. Bring it to you.
Sabrina, I'm sorry to when you are you using a bot system for SMS?
They're pretty loud, but so we just have a pop-up that runs on our site, and then our email marketer sets it up in the system and pushes them out. And we actually have it set up so if you respond to the text, it goes to our customer service team. They respond to it directly. Did that answer your question?
All right, interest of time, I want to make sure you can get another drink or food. We've got the room until about 7:30. We can meet you down the bar after. I'm going to fast forward us a little bit to 2 things before you leave. One, I love talking about data if you haven't noticed. We've got a super way to view your customer set. It's called the customer lifecycle. If you want to know more, if you want to learn more about how you can get access to customer lifecycle, see me, see Greg, who's right here, Brian's in the back too. We get a whole bunch of our friends here from Justuno, BVA, and Zendesk. Please see us all. Last bit though, we're giving away an Echo Dot. Everyone knows what an Echo Dot is. It's the speaker that might be kind of creepy depending on what you think about life and Amazon. We'll give you one of those creepy Echo Dots if you fill out a survey. We've got surveys in the back. Survey response equals Echo Dot. Love your super honest, candid feedback, how we can make these better for you in particular. And I'll take a moment just to say thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. Thank all the speakers, especially Sabrina, for making it happen. We'll be around. Thank you much, guys.